Hi everyone! So today I have purchased a bunch of different brands of plain solid color polish because I wanted to find out what brand is the one for me. So that is basically what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be testing all these, figure out which one I like. So yeah, so I guess let's just get right down into it. Let's go. So I'm going to be comparing a bunch of different things. First off, the texture. Basically, how thick is it? How thin is it? Is it streaky? Is it, nice, creamy? We're going to see that. We're going to see how opaque it is, how many coats it takes to do a full coverage. The brush, is it square? Is it round? Is it soft? Is it hard? I think that's important to think about. I'm very sensitive to smells, so if it has a particularly bad one, I want to know. How much they cost, because there's a bit of a variety here. That does factor in. And can it chrome? This isn't actually necessary. I think only Valla says it can, but that's a fun thing to know, is if you can just directly chrome on top of it. So we're going to be starting with the Bandi. This is not color BF118, which is a nice pink color. Let's get into it. So first off, we're going to be texture, the opacity. I made these little cards. The cost is already on them for each brand. This one was $19 per bottle, which is not bad for a Korean gel. It's called Pink Rose. So that's that. That's what the bottle looks like. Let's crack it open and see what we're dealing with here. I really do like the handle of this one. Okay. So it seems to be from my experience with gel, sort of a medium, but not quite medium. A little on the thinner side of medium. Yeah, I think it's somewhere between thin and medium. I've prepared nail tips for each of these. So I think, yeah, the smell also barely there. Nothing there, nothing offensive. So it's very neutral. Let us put the color on, see how it slides. Oh, very nice. It goes on pretty thin, but seems to have pretty standard coverage of what I'm used to. Self-levels seemingly pretty nicely. It does self-level very quickly, which is very nice. Looks pretty good. Let's stick that into cure. Let's look at this brush here. This is a nice flat brush, and I think it's a between medium. It's not hard, but it's not super soft. I think it's a medium flat brush. Go between them. I should have added a medium setting for this. I will say the bottle size. The texture is sort of as I said, between thin and medium thick, medium viscosity. And I think it's gonna be a 2-coater. If I were if it's my opinion, I would use 2 coats for full coverage of this one. But for $19, that's really nice. I've only heard good things about it, and I do agree. Quite nice. Now let's do a second coat here. Second coat goes on quite smoothly. Again, self-leveling very nicely over the previous layer. See how quickly it self-levels? It's really nice. I do really like this one so far. I know it's the first one. I can't really have too many opinions at the moment, but I think this one's pretty nice. So to do the chrome test, here's what I'm going to do for all of them. I'm going to walk you through for this one, but I'm going to speed through for the rest of them. I'm putting a matte top coat over all of them. And then I'm going to cure that. And then I'm going to do just the tip, sort of the half tip, a sort of square French tip. I don't know if there's a different name for it, but we're just going to be doing the half tip with it. We're going to cure it for 30 seconds, like you would do for a normal chrome overlay. And then we're going to chrome it. So we're putting it for 30 seconds. And then I'm going to use the same chrome for all of them. It's just this laser silver chrome that I don't use that often because I prefer the regular silver. But we're just going to be using this little chrome. It's just cheapo chrome I got on, I don't know, AliExpress or Amazon like 3 years ago. Looks like this. And then I have my little sponge, dedicated sponge. So we're just going to be putting that over the tip and see if it's DX, like you would with a normal isolated chrome application. Okay. It appears that the Bandi is chromable. Wipe it down with a clean sponge to burnish it in. Yeah, I would say that is pretty nice chrome application. Usually with the silver chrome over a color, it'll be like tinted with that color. So it's not like it's not working. That is what it's supposed to look like. So yeah, that worked pretty nicely. I think that's a definite yes on the will it chrome. It will. Okay. So far, Bandi, pretty impressed. Really liked it. As I said, the chrome is a bonus. But now we're going into Dgel. We got the Dgel signature DS058. Now you notice this bottle looks a little different than the one that I put up. I did actually message them about how different it did look from the bottle I got, and they did send me, it was the right color, but there must have been something weird on my monitors. They did actually send me a darker cool tone green that I actually was looking to get. So the sweetie customer service, incredible. But this was the one that I did buy the one, and it does look darker, but like when you apply it, it is sort of the same color as the bottle. So the bottle is accurate to the color. But anyway, let's put this on. Let's see what we're dealing with here. This one does go on extremely smoothly. This is a very thin formula, I think. Like this feels very thin, and this is definitely not a one coater. But it's very, if you like a thin, like sort of a very loose formula, I think this might be the one for you. I personally like a bit of a thicker gel, but that's like a personal preference. The brush is flat and is very soft, so that's nice. But it is like, it's not streaky, but it is pretty thin, personally, which is not a bad thing. Let's stick it in. It does not really have any smell at all. Very neutral smell, which is good. That's what I kind of want. The shine is beautiful, but you can definitely, like, it's not fully opaque. So we're definitely going to have to put a second coat on here. But when I put the second coat on, yeah, that's definitely like 2 coats will do you with a pretty thin formula, which if you like keeping your nails super thin, like not bulking up the nail too much, this might be the good one for you. It did cost $20 a bottle, which is, you know, pretty standard, I would say. Sticking that in. So 2 coats, I definitely would be the coverage for it. And it comes out looking shiny as hell. Like that is very nice looking. So let's, I've already mattified it. Let's put the half tip on there. Let's see if, I would suspect that this one will not chrome, as it has a bit of a very distinct tacky layer when you're done, but you know, we're doing it to an all. And it didn't advertise that it would chrome. Just to keep in mind, just sometimes you get an extra little surprise. So, but, yeah, no, as you can see, it's sticking to it way too well. Burnishing this. It does have an interesting look. Like, it does sort of have like a brushed metal, which is a fun thing to do. Which, you know, if you're looking for like a really interesting look, you could use it for this. But for actual chrome, no, this isn't chromable. Still a nice choice. We're going with Jello Jello, which was the first brand of Korean gel that I bought ever, and I do quite like it. But will it come out the winner? Let's find out. It is $18 a bottle, approximately. And this is JC75. This is from the Bubbly collection. And as you can see, it does have a thicker texture than the Dgel. This is very much like a medium thickness gel, which I'm a fan of. I do like a thicker gel personally. It sort of has a bit more of a smell than the previous two, but not bad. So it's like on the, you know, stronger end of neutral, shall we say. And the brush is very flat, and it's sort of like a medium between soft and hard. I really should have added medium to this card. Yeah, well, too late now. Let's see how it in action. This is not really a surprise to me, as I do have several Jello Gels already, but I don't know. Like, listen, I don't know if it's the one for me. So I gotta try out a bunch of different ones. Let's put this on, get it up. It does have very nice, like, it is a bit more full coverage than the Dgel was, but I still think it probably needs 2 coats. It does self-level so nicely, though. But yeah, this is definitely I think it should have 2 coats, but it's sort of like, I think a lot of people would be happy with 1 coat. Like, it's not super, you know, it's not translucent by any stretch of the imagination, if you know what I mean. But I think it benefits from a 2nd coat. It does go on very smoothly, as you can see. Very nice. And then stick that in for a full cure. So definitely like I think 2 coats, but I think some people would be fine with 1 coat. So, you know, do with that what you will. So it looks nice. Like this, it performs very well. I really like the Jello Jello, but will it come out on top? We shall see. So we put on the matte top coat and let us do the chrome test. Let's do our little half tip here. Okay, and then 30-second cure. And let us put some chrome on top. I've never actually tried to chrome any of my Jello Jello ones. But yeah, this is definitely not chromable. You would definitely need to use a chrome top. So not chromable, but still a nice option. Pretty good pricing too. Next up, we're on to the Kokoist Nail Thoughts number 9, otherwise known as My Perfect Red. This is the most expensive one on the list. It was $23. The bottle, very nice. NTO 9. Oh my, when they said orange red, they meant orange red. That's oranger than I thought it would be, but it is sort of between thin and medium, which I think is pretty standard for a lot of these gels. Kokoist is a Japanese company, so I guess this is a Japanese one. It is pretty neutral, not much of a smell. The brush is flat, which seems to be the standard, and sort of like a softer feeling. So let's get this swatched, see what we're dealing with here. Okay, it goes on pretty thinly, which is nice, even though it doesn't have like as thin of a texture as a Dgel, I don't think. But as you can see, I think you're definitely gonna need 2 coats of this one. So let's put her in for a cure. As you can see here, I bonked it and didn't notice. Classic. So we're going to see, you know, a little bonus test for this one. Will the 2nd coat cover that and level over it? And the answer, yeah, it will. This does self-level beautifully. It's a nice gel. None of these I've so far, like, I've not been disappointed with any of these so far. Let's get this all nicely put on and cured. I think 2 coats is all you'll need for this one too. Pretty standard 2-coat situation. This was $23 Canadian, so it is the most pricey. It does look nice when it's done. Not quite as shiny as the Dgel looked, but still very nice. Okay, I've mattified it, and holy crap, look how nicely it looks matte. This one looks great matte. Gotta be honest. Let's test any bonus chromability. Stick that in the lamp for 30 seconds. And yeah, no, this one's definitely not chromable. Does that sort of brushed metal look. But it wasn't supposed to be. This is just the bonus test for me personally. So not chromable, but still pretty good choice. I hear a lot of people are really big fans of the Nail Thought stuff. So next up we got the Mostive Zinja MJ32, a nice sky blue. This was the least expensive because I got it at $15 on sale. I do really like these bottles. I like the shape of them. Nice sky blue color. And Ooh. This is a thick little situation. This is a very thick gel. I do like a thick gel. This is very thick. It's not like as thick as like, you know, like a 3D Embo gel, but it is the thickest gel I've experienced today anyway. It has like sort of a slight smell, but very neutral, not terrible. But ooh, that's thick. I love thick gel. Oh no. On the plus side, if I do end up loving this one the best, it is the cheapest. So let's see how it goes on if the thickness does self-level. Oh yeah, that's smoothing out quite nicely. Ooh, I'm really liking this one, guys. Ooh. The brush was a standard flat medium thing. Let's put this in, see what it got. After full cure, I think this is a one coater, my friends. I think the thickness of the gel really went into the opacity as well. That is one coat for sure. That's great. Oh, I think I'm a fan of this. Ooh. But we gotta see if it'll chrome. All right, we've mattified it. Put the little half tip here. Now, as I said again, none of these say they're, except for Valla. I do believe Valla did say, none of these say they're going to chrome. So this is just a bonus. Just good to know sort of situation. I don't think this is going to be a chroming one, but we'll see. Yeah, you can usually tell with the way that the chrome sticks to it if they're gonna burnish in or not. This one's gonna be a no. This is not meant to chrome and it does not chrome. But that would have been cool if it did. But yeah, it's pretty nice. Ooh, I really like that one. Big fan of the Zinja from Mostive. Next up, we're up to Valla. I've heard a lot of good things. This is VC69, a darkish gray. I was picking all these colors that I just am missing from my collection, so that's why they're not all the same color, but it is what it is. I didn't want to have a bunch of the same color that I wouldn't use. Let us see. Ooh, okay. This is sort of like it's not medium. Like it's thin, but it's on like the thicker-ish end of thin. Thicker-ish end of thin, if that makes sense. It is a very flat brush, and it is a medium between, like, on the softer end, but not quite a soft brush, I would say. The smell, though, it's not terrible, but it is present. It was $18 Canadian per bottle. All of these go on very smoothly. So that's like, I truly believe that pretty much all of these are a good option so far. Like, I would be happy with any of these. But I just wanted to sort of highlight any differences, any things, important things to know for my own personal choice. Yeah, it looks very nice. Just stick it in the lamp. Give it a cure. That looks nice, but I do believe I'm going to go with it'll need 2 coats. I think someone would be happy with 1, but I personally think 2 coats. But I like my opaque colors to be opaque, you know? Which is, I guess, is probably why I like thicker gels, because I like a thicker gel. What can I say? We got this on. It does self-level, as all of these have, very nicely. Looking good. That does look very nice. But will it chrome? It's the only one that said it would. So let us find out. We've mattified it. Added matte top coat. Now we're just doing the half tip. And as a gray, this should be the easiest one. Like the one that should show the chrome the most. If it does truly chrome. Let's put it in for 30 seconds. And let's rub the chrome down. One day I will learn how to be in frame for things. And yeah. Oh, they were correct. That does chrome. That chromes very nicely. That is very nice. It does chrome beautifully. Yes, it does. So Valla was not lying. It does chrome. Finally, we got the yogurt. This is number 27. Like a fun orange here. Sort of a clementine orange. Very summery. Let's pull this open. Okay, so we got your standard sort of flat medium. It's sort of a thin to medium consistency, flat medium brush. Pretty standard. This was $17 a bottle. All of my prices are Canadian because I live in Canada. The smell, neutral. Doesn't really smell like much. Good to know. Let's see how it goes on here. Pretty nice. Does go on very nicely. I know that a lot of people really enjoy the yogurt. I think it's going to be a 2-coater. Yeah, this is going to be a 2-coater in my opinion. A little bit, it's not, patchy's like not the right word, and translucent isn't either, but it just doesn't have, you know, the 2 coats will give you the super coverage that you want. Self-levels quite nicely, as they all have. Those are the 2 coats. Interesting. And it comes out looking beautiful. I will say the difference with this one is this one only has 8 milliliters and all the other ones had 10. So it does give you a little bit less product. So the price is lower, but less product. So we've mattified it. Let's do the chrome test. Do a little half tip. And stick it in for 30 seconds. Now let's see how the chrome acts on this one. Adding it on. And it it just fully rebuffed it. There is nothing there. It said chrome, don't know her. No, that won't chrome. That's I've never seen that. That is so funny. It's like, it's memories of chrome on this. That is so funny. All right, so I top coated them all. This is what they all look like. Top coated, they look nice. That yogurt not chroming is so funny. Anyway, let's see. What did I think? So these I think are my top 3. I love the Bandi's whole deal. I like that it chromed. It was very nice. The texture was super nice. The bottle, like the handle, I love the handle. It's very nice. However, the bottles are kind of big, so they don't fit into like any of my like nail polish holders, right? Which is a weird negative on it. Like, they're nice bottles though. I love the Mostive Zinja. I love the bottles. The matte feel of them is nice, but the thick texture. Oh, that was wonderful. The 1-coat application, big fan. It was also the cheapest. The shade range is not as much as the other collections, but I think they got everything you need for most things. I really like this. And my third top 3 of the these aren't in order right now, is the Valla. I thought that worked really nicely. It chromed beautifully. The bottles are nice and matte. Nice shape. It was a nice texture. It was really great. But of these 3, if I were to say which ones I'm going to be buying in the future, I think I'm probably going to have to go with it was between these 2, like the bottle thing with the Bandi and the Valla were pretty similar, but the bottles of the Bandi really sort of were much. But I think that the Zinja, I love a thick one. I love a thick gel. And this one, I just really loved this one. So I think that for me, but hopefully this was helpful and you can maybe decide which ones looked best for you and, you know, not have to spend all time and money looking for, you know, things that you're not going to like. Even though it didn't chrome, definitely the Mostive Zinja, I think that's the one. That's the one for me because I like a thick one, but hopefully this was helpful. And just look at this texture. Oh, I love it. I love a thick gel. But if you like a thin gel, I would say the Valla or the Bandi would probably be more your speed, or the Dgel. The Dgel had the thinnest one. It was great. All of these were great. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'll be back next week with some nail art, but I thought this might be interesting. Let me know in the comments if you did too. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye!